Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean. It's a quick post-fight video for the Billy Joe Saunders David Lemieux fight from last night. Very, very good performance from Billy Joe. Exceptional performance. He won every round on my card, and from what I can see, everyone else says the same thing. David Lemieux didn't win a round. The judges gave him a couple. I suppose just so it didn't look like a total piss take, I suppose, but it was. He couldn't do anything. He was just coming forward, as I predicted, swinging big punches, lunging in with the jab, poor sense of distance and timing. I mean, that obviously had a lot to do with the fact that Billy Joe's very, very quick on his feet. He reacts very quickly. He's got much faster hands as well, so he's in and out of range, beating him to the punch. Just footwork was amazing. Lemieux just couldn't do anything. And he was getting frustrated in there. He was just, no plan B. He just looked like an amateur, really. He looked like someone who's just sort of gone into a gym, someone who kind of thinks they're a bit hard, had a few fights in the street, turns up at the gym expecting to just sort of take people's heads off, and got just thoroughly outboxed and embarrassed, really. He looked silly in there. There was one point, I saw Saunders doing the Ali shuffle at one point. He was, looking out into the crowd, where did that punch go? When he swung a big right hand, that was quality. Because the thing about that is, just before he did that, Lemieux landed one of the few good punches that he landed in the whole fight. Got him with a nice, I don't know if it was a left or a right, but a nice sort of uppercut to the body. Timed it well, and that was powerful. And straight after that, he then tried to follow that with a big swing. Saunders, boom, straight out of the way. Where's that go, mate? And that was just beautiful. Psychologically, that must have really disheartened Lemieux. He's just landed a really good punch. Then he thinks, and then the bloke's just taking the piss out of him miles away. Just dodged the punch, and then just very, very quickly out of range. And Lemieux just couldn't do a thing. So we're really, really pleased for Billy Joe. Really happy that it was on the road as well. The fact that he went to Canada, took on a tough challenge in his backyard and just absolutely schooled him. He's really cemented himself now as a proper legitimate world champion and a real serious contender for being the #1 in that division. Now, obviously, you've got this Golovkin-Canelo rematch kind of looming. As far as I know, it hasn't been signed yet. I would be surprised, or at least I would have been at first, if Canelo and Golden Boy had wanted to sign that straight away. I would have thought it made more sense to them to let Golovkin age a little bit more, Canelo get a bit more experience at middleweight. The longer they wait for that rematch I think it favours Canelo. Because Golovkin, he clearly won that rematch. He clearly won the first fight in most people's eyes. But Canelo did better. He certainly did better than I expected. So Golovkin is starting to sort of slow down a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did try to long it out a little bit. But by all accounts, they're quite close to making it next. So I don't really know what's going to happen there. Personally, I prefer to see them fight someone different. I'd much rather see both of them fight Billy Joe Saunders. I'd much rather see both of them fight Jermell Charlo. I'd like to see Canelo fight Danny Jacobs. There are a lot of fights out there I'd like to see. So if Billy Joe Saunders can't get that fight next, there's some good fights out there for him. Danny Jacobs is one that I think everybody would like to see. That would be good. I'm not sure where they'd make it, because Billy Joe Saunders has proven that he can go on the road and take on a tough contender in his backyard. So maybe he'd be up for going and fighting him in America. Who knows? Because one thing I would say is that after this fight, Billy Joe Saunders, he's got a lot of exposure in America, and the American fight fans, from what I can see, are showing quite a lot of respect to him for basically really, for the large part, the first time in his career. He was very inactive. We talked about it before, the situation where he won his belt, didn't fight Golovkin. Not really sure exactly what went on there, but everybody blamed him for it. Then he didn't fight for a long time, so he wasn't really particularly respected. But with this performance, going in there, putting on that kind of clinic, I think he gained a lot of respect and a lot of fans in America. Canada, I would hope so. The crowd inside the venue were booing, but I think they were just pissed off, really, that Lemieux just was made to look silly, couldn't do anything. So maybe Billy Joe Saunders will be up for going to America to fight again. Who knows? Or, I mean, the option of him fighting now in the UK against one of these people. You'd think that Frank Warren, now with BT, they're starting to get a lot more clout again. Frank Warren and Queensbury, BT, Box Nation, they're starting to grow, and like they're really starting to rival Eddie Hearn now. So I wouldn't be that surprised if Frank Warren put his hand in his pocket and brought over someone like Danny Jacobs, possibly Jamal Charlo, someone like that over to the UK for that big fight, because he's also definitely gained a lot of respect in the UK as well with that performance. Because Billy Joe Saunders is someone, I've watched him his whole career. I know how good he is, and I've always wanted to see him fulfill his potential. That's why I was so happy that he went to Canada to fight Lemieux and put on this kind of performance. The Willie Monroe fight was good as well. Willie Monroe's a good fighter. He's not like one of the best in the world, but he's a good, skilled boxer, and he beat him quite easily. So that's two solid opponents back to back. He's building up quite a good record. Beat obviously Eubank, beat Andy Lee, beat all the best people in the UK. So he's starting to get more respect now in the UK, and I think a lot of people are quite proud of the way he went out there and put on that performance. So yeah, the future is looking bright for Billy Joe Saunders. He's obviously training up there in Sheffield with Dominic Ingle and Kell Brook and Kid Galahad. He's got a new spring in his step, a new love for the game. Very, very fit. He's got a proper nutritionist for the first time in his career, and you could see the difference in that performance. Just how fit he looked and how sharp he was, for the whole fight. So yeah, I've got high hopes for him now. So we'll see who he's going to fight against next. But he's got a lot of options. In terms of how he'll do in those fights, I think I'll tell you right now. I said before, I thought he'd beat Canelo. I don't think he'll get the decision on the scorecards, but I think he'll beat Canelo. I think stylistically he's all wrong for him. Now Canelo has improved since I started saying that, so I do. It's definitely a dangerous fight. I wouldn't say that Billy Joe Saunders is going to just sort of school him like he did Lemieux. Not at all. Canelo's much cleverer than Lemieux, and he's nowhere near as one-dimensional. And he's quicker as well. He's got quicker hands, and he can set traps. But I see Billy Joe Saunders outboxing him stylistically. I see it quite similar to the Lara fight. There are quite a lot of similarities between Saunders and Lara. Now for me, Billy Joe Saunders is more aggressive. He's got more heart. So he's prepared to do things that Lara didn't do. Lara pretty much threw that fight away, from what I can remember. Canelo's got better since then, to be fair, but I see a similar-ish kind of fight, and I see Saunders winning a close-ish fight, but Canelo getting the decision on the cards. We all know how that goes. In terms of Golovkin, I mean, I'd pick Golovkin to beat him still. I still think the style of Golovkin probably would be a bit too much for him over 12 rounds, but it would be a very interesting fight, and I certainly wouldn't write Saunders off. He's got the style to definitely give himself a good chance, and he's got the heart to hang on in there. He's got the will to win, and I think that he has a good chance in that fight. I'd lean towards Golovkin. Well, not really. I would favour Golovkin, but I'd definitely say that Billy Joe Saunders has a decent chance. Danny Jacobs, Billy Joe Saunders would be a very, very interesting one. I'd say that would be call that a 50-50 fight. I mean, I'm not sure who I'd pick in that. That would be a very, very interesting one. Jamal Charlo, I really like Jamal Charlo. I think he has the potential to be one of the best as well. I need to see a bit more from him at middleweight. But yeah, there's a lot of fights out there for Billy Joe Saunders. Chris Eubank could come back down to middleweight as well. Who knows? So yeah, congratulations, Billy Joe Saunders. Very, very proud of him. Very happy with the performance and very happy with the way his career is going and looking forward to the future. So yeah, that's all I've got to say for now. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching.